welcome to Melbourne in Australia for the FIBA 2019 World Cup qualifier between Australia and Qatar. The fans here in the Margaret Court Arena are certainly in party mood, as Australia have already qualified for the World Cup finals in China next year. Qatar, they battled hard to get to this stage, and they'd love nothing more than to be party poopers here in Melbourne today. So the qualification window finishes today, with Japan taking on Kazakhstan in Toyama and Iran making the trip to Manila to face the Philippines later today. And what a qualification window we've had. It's seen Australia top the group and qualify. That leaves 2 automatic qualification places available here in Group F, as well as potentially the best 4th placed team spot as well. This is obviously all part of the new competition structure, which has been embraced around the world, and has enabled fans to see their home team play on home soil more often than ever before. 17 of the 32 World Cup final places are now sorted as it stands. Plenty of passion and pride still to be played though, and obviously the final qualification window will be in February. And we'll be interested to see who will pick up those final few prestigious places at one of the biggest basketball shows on the planet. You really can feel the happy atmosphere in the arena here in Melbourne. And the pressure is off the Australians to some degree. They've obviously qualified, but I think they want to bring the party atmosphere into Melbourne this evening. And the crowd are certainly ready for that. And the Qatarian team are about to be introduced to the crowd. They've only won 2 of their qualifiers, and both of those were against Iraq, and that was in the first phase of qualification. However, you look at the expectations on them before qualification even started, I weren't necessarily expected to show, and they've shown some real glimmers of a team that can compete with anyone they face. However, it's turning those glimmers into 40 minutes of potential. For them today, a win over Australia would probably be one of the biggest results in the history of basketball within Qatar. And they would love nothing more than to spoil the party for the Melbournians. Just about to have the home team introduced.
All right, Melbourne,
to the crowd.
Moment you've been waiting for, it's time to introduce the players for your team.
They're obviously considered to be one of the best teams in the Asia region, and they haven't disappointed in these qualifiers. However, the loss to Japan does show that they're beatable, and Qatar will play on that. They may have already secured their place at the World Cup finals, but they want to put on a show tonight. Australia will make their way to China with a bit of an air of confidence about them. Australian basketball certainly is on the up, and their day to challenge anyone in the world could be coming. Even Sailing might be a little sneaky outside bet for a podium finish in China. I certainly wouldn't want to bet against them, that's for sure. And the depth in the Australian roster has been shown throughout the qualifiers. They've rotated through quite a few superstar players in their roster. Now, before the start of the game, obviously we'll have the national anthems. First will be the national anthem of Qatar, and that will be followed by the Australian national anthem.
Qatar and Australia.
Both national anthems there being beautifully respected within the arena as players exchange pleasantries and gifts prior to the start of the game. And this is obviously all part of the World Cup qualification campaign for both these teams. Group F here in the Asia region. And here are our officials for this evening. Hwang In-tae, Kim Yong-kuk, Park Kyung-yin, and all three of them are from Korea. They'll be making sure that everything goes to the rule book and that we should be in for what is set to be another interesting World Cup qualifier. The Qataris will know that the odds are against them, that not many people may be backing them for the win tonight. But as so often is the case in international sport, that provides further motivation. And here's your Qatari roster. The offensive focus is likely to lie with Mohamed. So far in his qualifiers, he's averaged 12 points and nearly 5 boards a game. But it all can't lie on the veteran big man's shoulders. And it'll be important his teammates step up to the challenge here today. Here's the starting 5 for Qatar: Mohamed, Fauda, Mohamed, Khalid, and Abdel Halim. Pretty regular starting 5 for them. So the Australians obviously have faced Qatar once already. In that game they came away 95-43 winners, and that was in Qatar. Here's the Australian roster for you, and it's absolutely laden with talent. Daniel Johnson has played well in the 3 games he's featured in so far, averaged 12.3 points per game. That includes 12 points against Iran on Friday. But the strength of the Italian roster certainly lies in the team ethos, and you can expect the scoring to be spread. Here's your starting 5 for Australia: Sobey, Glidden, Kay, McCarron and Hodgson. It's pretty impressive starting 5 for any country that's featured in these World Cup qualifiers so far. And the team ethos certainly does spread within the Australian team, as they have one of the best assist ratios in Asia. There's coach Gianni Alice. He's only been in charge for 1 game before the evening, taking over from Tim Lewis from the previous qualification windows. Really getting to grips with his team, whereas that man there, Coach Lemanis, on the other hand, he knows his team only too well. And with qualification concerns, Coach Lemanis will no doubt be working on different sets offensively, seeing which combinations of players work well together, maybe putting his team into certain situations to see if he can stretch them and push them to perform even further. But for them, their focus will now start to move towards the World Cup finals in just under a year's time in China. And remember, if you want to keep up to date with all of the FIBA World Cup action, there's one way that's the best way to do it, and that's by downloading the official FIBA World Cup app. It's available on iOS as well as Android. It'll give you all the latest news, views, rosters, stats, and probably most importantly, the highlight videos as well. So make sure you go and download the official FIBA World Cup app today. And if you are enjoying some of those highlight videos, make sure you share them on social media. Let's get these World Cup qualifiers trending globally. And if you do, make sure you use #ThisIsMyHouse. As the starting 5s for both teams come to the floor. And now just moments away as the stands start to fill up here at the Margaret Court Arena in Melbourne. Looks like Blanchfield will contest the tip against Mohamed for Qatar. And here we go, the World Cup qualifier between Australia and Qatar is underway here in Melbourne. Australia already secured their place. They want to have a party here in Melbourne tonight, and Qatar will be set to spoil that. Goes inside, nice easy 2 to start things for Todd Blanchfield. Straight away, Australia start to apply some pressure. 2-2, almost a man zone, in fact. Sorry, a man press, in fact. Mohamed now with the ball. Drives the baseline, comes to the corner to Khalid. Khalid, little step back jumper. Bit too much weight on that one, and the rebound will fall into the hands of Sobey. Glidden now on the wing, looking for some space, pulls the trigger on a three. His first attempt is no good, and Mustafa Fowler will return possession the other way. And it's stripped away now by Sobey. Into the hands of McCarron. Back to Kay. Patience here from Australia on the offensive end. Qatar are playing well. They're stopping the easy lanes. Back out to McCarron. To Sobey at the top. Shot clock down to 2. They're going to have to throw something up, and that's great defense by Qatar. They'll be very happy with that possession. They really did switch well. They moved well. They blocked all the lanes. And summed up there really by the rotation from Fowler. Massive mismatch with Blanchfield, but it didn't stop him from stripping the ball away. Good double team from the Australians, and the backcourt violation has been called. There's Jenny Alice. His second game in charge, so pretty steep learning curve for him about his team, and backcourt violation is going to be called on Nathan Sobey as well. Very rarely see that. 2 back-to-back backcourt violations. Little raise of the eyebrow from Coach Lamanis. I think he's suggesting that it was actually Fowler for Qatar who pushed the ball back over the backcourt. Mohamed now to Mohamed. Back to Fowler. To Mohamed for 3. Oh, almost gets it to go. That would have given Qatar the lead. Just over 2 minutes played. A KG start so far, neither team in full flow. To McCarron. Oh, he nails the 3. And again, just good team offense from Australia, leads to the open 3 for McCarron. McCarron averaging 7.2 points per game. He's featured in every single one of Australia's qualifiers. Fowler from the corner, and he returns the favour with the 3 himself. And just his second game, Fowler. Again, good ball movement here from Australia. But the Qatari defense is working hard, but the foul's going to be called on Suman Khalid. Off the ball as the mismatch was a bit too much for him to contain. And there's a 3 in the corner from Fowler. Quite a flat trajectory, but gets it to go. Sobey inbounds it to Kay, who comes back out to McCarron. And Sobey will set things up from the top. Pick and roll with Blanchfield. Nice pass inside, and Kay will say thank you very much from the present. I'll get my first points of the game. Mohamed now. Long 3 again. Too much on that one though for Fowler, and Glidden will gratefully pick up the rebound into the low post. Let's see what Blanchfield has got with his first big battle against Mohamed, and the foul has been called. It's going to be an interesting one to watch. The big guy's going to work. That's a lovely pass from Sobey. Just a side look. And there's the foul. An easy call for the officials. He can look as quizzical as he wants. It's not for the second phase of the play. It's for the first one where he's got his arm wrapped around Blanchfield. And Todd Blanchfield's had pretty good qualifiers so far, averaging 7.7 points per game. The Illawarra Hawks forward. Can't connect with either of his first 2 free throws actually in qualification. He hasn't gone to the line yet. Fowler now for Qatar. Khalid for 3. Comes up short, and an awful lot of the Qatari offense is around that perimeter at the moment, and I'm not sure that's going to pay. Blanchfield, soft left hand, not soft enough, and Abdel Halim will secure the rebound for Qatar. And it's almost stolen away. It is stolen away. 2-on-1 break. And tough foul by Mohammed as Glidden was going for the layup. It's always difficult finding the balance. You don't want to give up the easy 2 points. You just need to be a little bit careful when it's a breakaway like that, though, that you're not overly aggressive. Oh, yeah, catching Glidden on the side of the head. And Mohammed needs to be careful, or he's going to get unsportsmanlike fouls called against him. Timeout's been called. 5:40 left in this first quarter. Reasonably slow start offensively for both teams. Australia lead at 7-3. Let's jump into Coach Giannialis' timeout.
We don't need the ball in the point guard hands to run a play. We have the ball on mission. Give it to the side. The point guard. Use a UCLA and come with down screen immediately. Or just go under the basket and run this. And go up top. But get out of here immediately. Stay parallel. Stay parallel, the 2 guards. And don't catch the ball here and stop. If they press too aggressive, attack, draw the contact, and then reset. Okay, let's go.
Pretty straightforward words there from Coach Giannialis. And exactly what we've been saying, the ball's staying high too long, it's staying in the point guard's hands too long. Fowler is taking up most of the 24 seconds with the ball in his hands. What they need to do is they need to work it a bit harder, move the ball to the wing, see if they can get a pass down into a low post position possibly. Because while the ball is at the top, a direct pass straight down the lane is very, very difficult to execute. So Glidden will be at the line for 2 shots. This is the first. Australia not enjoying themselves at the line so far. In fact, it was an unsportsmanlike foul called on Mohammed. So it's going to be the 2 shots and possession for Australia. As Glidden goes to the bench, making the second of his 2 free throws. Australian lead out to 5 now. Blanchfield for 3. That's a way to introduce yourself to the game. As Mohammed pulls the trigger on a 3 himself and nails it. Big shot. Sobey now. And Karen. Back to Blanchfield. And Fowler's going to be called for the foul. He's not overly happy with the call. There's a quick ball movement. And Blanchfield will hit the 3 from the wing. And there's Mohammed returning the favour for Qatar. Karen, Blanchfield for another 3. Oh, he's come on and made such an impact. Almost stolen away, but Khalid holds on to it, and Khalid gets it to go. Both teams now starting to warm up offensively. Things have loosened up a little bit in the last minute or so. Jawai now in the low post. Oh, lovely backdoor cut and pass as Kay makes a beautiful, decisive slice to the basket. As Abdel Halim goes up against Jawai. I don't think he's going to win the battle of the bodies. Khalid now. The jumper's no good, and we're in a slightly more fluid phase of the game. Sobi is fouled. Fowler's going to be called for the foul. And here's Khalid, little shake and step away. And that's great vision by Jawai, seeing the slashing K to the basket for Australia. Sobi will go to the line for 2 shots, shooting 77% from the line before today's game. Part of the Adelaide 36ers roster in the ever-improving NBL in Australia. Fastest growing leagues in the world, the Australian League, both on-court performance and number of bums on seats in the arenas. A real great model for how to develop a professional league in the modern day. Mohammed now to Khalid. Khalid uses the screen, but the door is shut on him. Fadeaway jumper from Mohamed, no good, but it goes inside and one. Mushkic will get himself to the line with a strong play in the block. Draws the body contact. We called on Barlow. Qatar within 6 now. Blanchfield back to Jawai. To Caddy. To McCarron, and it's stolen away. Quick hands by Mohamed. Telegraph pass, though, is to make it a bit easier to intercept. Fowler now. Waits for the screen to come up from Mohamed. Steps inside, little hesitation, comes back to Mohamed. Quick ball movement. Khalid with a jump fake. And draws Jawai into the foul. He's having a big impact. Plays in the Qatari top division for Al Sadd. And uses his quicker foot speed to draw Jawai into the foul. Not a great time from the line in the qualifiers, only 33%. And it's not what you'd expect from a veteran player. Connects with the second of his 2 and reduces the Australian lead to just 5 points now. Jawai comes back to Caddy. Back out to Barlow, who drains the jumper, and it's the patience on the offensive end for Australia that's paying dividends at the moment. They're making sure they take their time. They know in the 24 seconds that they're going to get a good shot opportunity. There's no pressure on rushing. Mohammed to Mohamed. Oh, and he hits the 3 as well. The big man steps out for range. Scored 10 points, pulled down 5 boards against Japan in their game earlier in the weekend, and Caddy gets himself 2 points. First 2 of the game for him. Mohamed now to Mohammed. He steps back for the 3 and hits the 3, and Qatar have found some form from the perimeter, and Australia's lead down to 4. Not what the pre-game expectations were. Qadi for three. Rains the long bomb. Khaled now from Mushkic to set the screen, and he pulls up for the short-range jumper. Off the glass is no good. McCarron. To Jawai, and Jawai just shoots in his body to full effect, and I'm not sure there's many players around the world that could withstand that kind of onslaught in the low post, and Mushkic takes an absolute pounding from Jawai there. Fowler's got 8 seconds to do something. Mohamed now, catch and shoot. A little fumble of the ball, put him off his rhythm there, and comes up short. Australia with a 9-point lead. Barlow looking to extend. He's off right with that attempt. Final 30 seconds now of the first quarter, and it's a game that's picked up momentum in the closing minutes, that's for sure. Started a little bit slowly. Fowler now feeds Khaled in the low post, who does lose control of it. Great little hustle from Mitch McCarron. Plenty of time on the quarter clock for them to create with. Down to 10 seconds now. Surely run some form of pick and roll, or they're going to give it to Qadi, who's got the mismatch. Oh, he nails another three. Jason Qadi finishes the first quarter in style. And Australia will be happy with their first 10 minutes of work here in Melbourne. They finish the first quarter leading Qatar 30-18. After a bit of a slow start for both teams offensively, they've both started firing, and the game is warming up nicely here in Melbourne. Welcome back to the Margaret Court Arena here in Melbourne for the World Cup qualifier between Australia and Qatar. There's your shooting percentages from the first quarter, and 6 from 8 from the perimeter is great shooting for Australia, and the 4 from 8 isn't bad from Qatar either. It really has been a long-range war here so far. Both teams getting in on the act of the three-pointer. But Australia in control after a late spurt in that final few seconds of the quarter. They lead by 12 after 10 minutes. And they're on course for another big win. That said, Qatar have shown they can score, and my goodness me, they can score in a hurry as well. Moves like that from Mohamed show. They've certainly got the skill. But Blanchfield's come on and hit 2 threes as well for Australia. And it might come down to which team can secure the perimeter more effectively than the other. So that's where the big scores are coming from at the moment. As you can see, it really has been raining threes. And here we go, the second quarter of action in this World Cup qualifier between Australia and Qatar. After 10 minutes, Australia lead this one 30-18. Yay now. Hands it to Abdullah. Qadi called for the foul. And Abdullah will go to the line for 2 shots. Just shooting 56% from the line in his previous 4 World Cup qualifiers. Definitely the weakness of the Qatari team is free throw shooting. Only a couple of players shooting above 75%. This is both of his free throws as well. Kadi now to Jawai. Back to Norton. He's going to feed the low post and knocked away by Mohamed. That's a strong move by Mitch Norton, just didn't quite have the finish. Abdullah now brings it up over the half. They need to advance it, only just get it up in time, almost one over the 8 seconds allotted to get it over the half, and here's Momar Gaye. Comes around the corner. No space for the jumper though, and Mohamed will go to work instead. He steps back. He's a little bit too heavy-handed with the fadeaway jumper. Kadi, and that's going to be an unsportsmanlike foul called on Avdic. You just can't pull on someone's shirt. It becomes such an easy call for the officials. As you see, just a quick acceleration of pace, and Avdic just pulls him back by the Qantas logo. And that's going to send Kadi to the line for shots, as well as gifting possession back to Australia. That's Faris Avdic's first impact on the game. The young man will want to make sure his next one is slightly more positive. Kadi makes him pay with the first. And the second. That takes him up to 10 points already in just under 5 minutes of action. An impressive contribution from one of the high-profile players here in the Australian roster. Jawai now sets the screen for Kadi for three. Oh, obviously feeling it, but can't get it to go. Into the hands of Mushkic. Oh, he hits a big shot, and that's what Qatar needed. Things were getting a bit stale for them offensively. First score of the second quarter's taken them almost 90 seconds. He's up to 6 points personal now. Oh, lovely little pass fake from Barlow. Sends his defender out the way and makes the layup a formality. Gaye now. Being guarded closely by Norton. And he's a dogged defender, Mitch Norton. Sprawls all over his players. Gives them no space at all, but even that said, Gaye finds the slither of space he needed to get the jump shot away. Kadi feeds Jawai in the low post, going up against Mohamed. Oh, that's a strong move by the big man. He's not just all about power, there's silky footwork as well. Abdullah now on the wing, back to Mohamed. He'll shoot that three, and he'll nail the three. Australia need to realise that he has range in his game. Kadi waits for Jawai to set the screen. Goes to the weak side instead. Norton with a little hesitation. Back out to Kadi for three. Drains that one as well. There's an absolute huge scoring display here from Jason Kadi. He's up to 13 points already. Barlow, little fake, back out. Kadi again. Not this time though. And Jawai's going to be called for the foul on Avdic. There's the Mushkic three. Barlow inside, and just that beautiful, subtle body fake was enough. And here's your footwork, just as the coaches taught it, giving you the lane for the jam. Fowler now back into the game for Qatar. As Avdic sets the screen and flashes back to the basket, now asking for the ball in the low post, and the foul's going to be called on Daniel Johnson. Absolute rebound monster is Daniel Johnson, rebounding leader in both 2013 and 2016 in the Australian League. Crashes those boards hard. Fowler now. Waits for the screen. Oh, nice step back. Unfortunately took all the strength out of his legs with the step back and didn't quite have enough from the knees for the jumper. Norton to the basket. He's fouled by Avdic, and that's Avdic's second foul. Oh, in fact, Al-Ayas called for the foul. And that coaching team, Lamanis there, and Longley, plenty of experience, both from a playing point of view as well as a coaching point of view. Longley, most famous for his time spent in the NBA with the Chicago Bulls. Rebound by Al-Ayas. Looking to work hard to find some opportunities at the moment, Qatar, as the Australian defence has certainly gone up a few notches. Back outside to Mushkic. He comes up short, just grazing the front of the rim. But Abdullah will grab the rebound. Not too sure why the shot clock didn't reset. It certainly touched the front of the rim. I think that's a mistake from the officials there. Some changes for Qatar as Mushkic is going to be called for the foul, hugging Johnson in the low post, allowing him a seat on the bench. Inbounded, and tough collision, but no call. Fowler now to Abdullah. Abdullah waiting for things to happen in front of him, and nothing's happening at the moment because the Australian defence is absolutely on point. Here goes Abdel Halim. And Abdel Halim can only find an air ball hook shot. It's not an easy task for coach Giannis Iaris. His second game in charge, facing the Boomers in Melbourne isn't easy, as Glidden gets the three away and hits another three as the game continues to be dictated to from the outside. 4:49 left in the second quarter. Australia lead this one 43-26. And it's shooting like this that has opened up that big lead. And coach Giannis for Qatar has called the timeout. Let's jump into his huddle, see what he's got to say.
Forget about your men. Play team defense. Every time we run one, they top this guy, and we cannot use the down screen. The opposite big guy, get up and kick kids and go for the canto.
Pretty straightforward message from the Qatari coach, Giannis. Forget about your man, play team defense, and that's the key. Who cares if it's your man that's about to score? It's someone that's about to score, and you need to stop them. And that's what's cost them so far. They've not chased shooters off the perimeter. They've not made it difficult for Australia to hit the perimeter three as Australia go into a 2-2-1 press zone. And there's your 8-second violation, and that's exactly what that full court pressure is designed to do. It's not necessarily designed to steal the ball away. It's designed to slow you down. Ideally, to make you take more than 8 seconds to get it over the half. But even if you do get it over the half, you'll have burnt 6-7 seconds off your shot clock, and you have a lot less time to work with offensively. Kane out, back to Johnson. Johnson finds Muller, who finds a wide open jumper from the wing that's no good as the shot clock expires. Norton couldn't get that one to go. He's going to drive to the basket and draw the foul from his fellow number 6, Fowler. Fowler go to the line, go to the bench, as will Avdic. Glitter now inbounds it to Norton. Comes back to Kay. Kay with a little fake. Couple little pump fakes and the easy rebound. And Daniel Johnson won't get many more easy rebounds to his name, and easy scores. Uncontested there, so close to the basket. Abdullah now being guarded very closely indeed by Molla. Mohamed now with the ball. Going to shake himself some space, couple of step backs, spin moves, and great defense by Glidden. Stays in front of him the whole time. My coach's dream, it's all about footwork. Norton now outside to Johnson. Johnson will hand off to Molla. Molla will float inside. He wanted Johnson to roll harder. He didn't though. Norton now steps out, passes it back out to the perimeter, and Kay will oblige with the three from outside, and it's just beautiful basketball from Australia offensively at the moment. They really are showing why they've qualified for the World Cup finals, as Molla once again displays some wonderful defense. Oh, a little Euro step from Abdel Bayset, but not enough to get himself points on the scoreboard. Molla now to Kay in the post. Back out to Norton, to Glidden. Glidden will use the Johnson screen and step back, but the offensive foul is going to be called on Johnson. A moving screen. Here's the easy score for Johnson a few possessions ago, completely uncontested. And here's the K triple from the top. Wonderful form. Australia with a 22-point lead. A little under 3 minutes to play here in the second quarter. And Australia in full control of this one. Mohamed now. Turns the corner, little hesitation, drives inside, tries to draw some contact but can't quite get the score either, but the ball will be batted back to Khalid. In the hands of Mohamed, who's probably been one of the bigger impact players for Qatar so far, and he's going to make another impact now. And one. Mohamed with the two under the basket and draws the foul. Wonderful pass from Khalid. Drew both Johnson and Muller across to him. And just gets the pass around the back of Johnson. And Mohamed will go to the line for 2 shots. The past and present big men of the Australian team there, Longley and Jawai, having a nice friendly chat on the bench. Sobey now to Johnson, back out to Glidden. To Moller. And inside to Sobey, and the little hesitation's enough to find some space, but a little shovel shot doesn't find its home in the basket. Under 2 minutes now left in this second quarter. 19-point lead for Australia. Khalid now into the post to Mohamed. Mohamed will pull the trigger on a long 2 and gets it to go. It's absolutely critical for Qatar. When Mohamed's on the floor, things go their way. When he's off the floor, things start going the wrong way. And it's just another part of his game. Certainly has the range, the big man. Khalid now. As Qatar look to eat away at this Australian lead a little bit more. Back to Mohamed for three. Too heavy-handed on that one. Off the back of the iron and out. Final minute here of this second quarter. Moller to Johnson to Glidden. Corner three is no good, and Australian scoring has slowed down somewhat as Sobey gets the two. They continue to press. Nice pass inside from Kay to Sobey. Here's Mohamed. Mohamed's frustrated that he doesn't receive the ball when he's secured a low position. Australia sitting on a 2-3 zone now. Mohamed will shoot the three and hit the three. As a coach, it's not what you want to see. The ball stays in the hands of the same player pretty much for your whole shot clock. But he got himself out of jail with that one. Hitting the three from the wing. Likely to be the final possession of this first half now. Sobey, behind the back to Kay. It's come off Kay though and gone out of bounds. So Qatar will actually get another opportunity to hopefully replicate what they've seen there with Mohamed draining a three. 4 seconds left on the game clock for the half. Mohamed pulls up. Comes up short, and he certainly does like having the ball in his hands, Mohamed. But at the half-time break here in Melbourne, Australia lead this one 50-34 over Qatar. And what has been a very dominant first half performance from the Australians. Look at that shooting percentage from three, 60% from Australia, 50% from Qatar. And Australia have been winning the rebounding battle. What rebounds there have been, pretty high shooting percentages all round. And both teams protecting the ball reasonably well as well, only 6 turnovers each. But an interesting first half here at Margaret Court Arena in Melbourne. Plenty for us to talk about. Australia started very, very strongly indeed. But Qatar fought their way back into it in the closing stages of that first quarter. And plays like that from Hodgson certainly will have helped. But at the end of the first quarter, Australia had already opened up a 12-point lead. Qatar locked things down a bit more in the second quarter, restricting Australia just to 20 points in that second quarter. That said, Qatar could only find 16 of their own. So at the half-time break, we're left with Australia 50, Qatar 34. And for Australia, their leading scorer is Jason Kadee, 13 points, 2 rebounds and an assist to his name, and he's only played a little over 8 minutes of action starting from the bench. Behind him is Nick Kay with 7 points and 5 rebounds. For Qatar, their leading scorer is the big man, Mohamed. He's got 11 points, 2 rebounds, assist and a steal to his name. And just behind him is Mohamed with 9 points, all of them coming from the perimeter. He's 3 from 3 from outside and 0 from 3 from inside. So maybe he should just shoot from the perimeter. He's also got 2 assists to his name as well. But this is obviously part of the World Cup qualification campaign for both these teams. Australia booked their plane tickets to China for the finals next year on Friday with their win over Iran. They won that on 76-47. Qatar, however, currently sit bottom of the table, 2 wins, 7 losses in their qualification campaign. And today we'll see the end of this qualification window. And the final qualification window will take place in February. But so much action here already in Melbourne at the Margaret Court Arena. And still plenty more to come. So at the half-time break, Australia in a commanding lead over Qatar. Australia lead this one 50-34. Welcome back to the Margaret Court Arena here in Melbourne. And we've been in an interesting first 20 minutes of action in this World Cup qualifier between Australia and Qatar. At the halfway stage, Australia in a commanding position. They lead this one by 16, 50-34 over Qatar. And we really have had an impressive shooting display from the perimeter from both teams. None more so than Jason Kadee. 13 points to his name, shooting 3 from 5 from outside. Also Nick Kay, 7 points for him, 5 rebounds. As you can see, 60% shooting from outside for Australia, 50% shooting for Qatar. Both teams racking up the points from the perimeter. For Qatar, their main man has been Mohamed, 11 points, 2 boards and an assist to his name. He's 2 from 5 from the outside as well. And when he's not on the floor, Qatar certainly seem a lot more fragile offensively, but the young fans in the stands have certainly been treated to some action. That young man hedging his bets, the Golden State Warriors hat and a Philadelphia jersey. But at the moment, he is full on cheering on the Boomers, as are those fans there. And do remember Australia, they've already qualified for the World Cup finals in China next year. But this really was a homecoming party for them against Qatar. They want to put on a show, whereas for Qatar, it could be their biggest ever win in international basketball if they take a win against the in-form and hotly tipped Australia. Just a few moments away now from the start of this second half. And this is the first game of the day for Group F as we close out the penultimate qualification window. Later today, Japan will take on Kazakhstan and the Philippines will play Iran. And that will close out the qualification window here in Group F. And the final huddles take place, and a big task is in charge with coach Giannis Arias. Cypriot is only in charge of his second game here this evening, taking over from Tim Lewis after the last qualification window. And there's your five back on floor for Australia, as Hodgson is in the game as well. To apologise for misreferencing Hodgson early in the game, referred to him as Blanchfield. But what can Qatar do in this second half? Do they have enough to challenge Australia? They certainly do. They certainly have the firepower and they can score in a hurry. They have perimeter threats throughout their team. Can they put together what would be probably their biggest 20 minutes of basketball if they're to come away with a win here today? Here we go as we get the second half underway at Margaret Court Arena in Melbourne. Australia lead this one 50-34 at the half-time break. What have they got now? Oh my goodness, that's what they've got! They've got a reverse alley-oop from Hodgson. No wonder he's got a smile on his face. That's a huge play to start the second half. And the foul's going to be called on McCarron. And here's a replay. The pass, executed with perfection from Hodgson. That is going straight to the top of the highlight reel. Wonderful, wonderful play. The crowds are being given a great show here today. And to Mohamed, can he keep it in? No, it's going to fall out of bounds. It's a poor inlet pass to the post from Avdic. And can Australia top that play this time? Sobey now to Hodgson. Comes back to McCarron. And the foul's going to be called. I think that one's going on Fowler. He's not happy, but he's been frustrated with the officials for most of the game. He needs to be careful. His demonstrations are a little bit too excessive. Let's have a look. Yeah, pushing off. He's claiming he's using arm bars, but he's not. He's extending his arm and pushing away. Sobey into the post to Glidden. Glidden steps back. Against Avdic. Good defense by Qatar now. Into the corner to Kay. Shot clock running out. He's going to have to shoot the three, and you could see by his initial reaction as he walked away from the shot that it wasn't going to go. Rich Lamanis there. He's certainly brought together a very strong squad for Australia. They've rotated through different players during the different qualification windows, depending on injury and availability. But one thing has remained consistent, and that is the high level of play from these teams. Australia now in a 2-2-1 zone press. Mohamed now goes back. Mushkic drives inside, and Sobey's told to get up. I think the officials thought that that was near enough a flop from Nathan Sobey. He's going to prove them wrong and drive back up the other way, and it's a classic Nathan Sobey tactic. Uses it to motivate himself. Yeah, it was very little contact for Sobey to hit the floor. He knew it as well. And he's quite lucky for the officials not to call anything more than that. He's earned himself a trip to the line as Sobey. Born in a lovely part of the world in Warrnambool, towards the end of the Great Ocean Road in southern Australia. Best game in the qualifiers came back in September. He had 15.5 board, 4 assist game against Kazakhstan. He really does whatever his team needs him to do to win games. He's that kind of personality, and the kind of personality that every team loves to have and every coach loves to work for. Oh dear. It's a nice thought from Mohamed. Just a little bit too much behind that full court curl. And you see the frustration in the eyes of Coach Gianniaris. Given now to Sobey. Takes a little mid-range, goes baseline, tries to get it inside of Hodgson, but the pass is intercepted by Mohamed. Got Bassett now. Calling the offense. Gets inside and comes back out to Mohamed. Shot clock down to 7. What's Mohamed got in his locker? He's got the making of Glidden or not. It's knocked away and the shot clock's going to run out, and wonderful, wonderful defense there by Cam Glidden. What you'll teach anyone with regards to playing basketball defense. Just got to stay in front of your man or woman. You just need to make sure that it's all in the footwork. Glidden now goes to Kay. Kay's going to go to work against Mujkic. Look out for Sobey, but the foul's going to be called on Avdic as he reaches in on his way past. And here's the defense by Glidden. Just absolutely wonderful defense. He's not reaching in, he's not trying to steal the ball. He's just absolutely frustrating Mohamed there. Sobey now to Glidden, catch and shoot. Over the backboard with that one, and the three-point shooting hasn't carried on as it did in the first half. Both teams were shooting exceptionally well from the perimeter. Intercepted by Sobey. Inside to McCarron, little up and under is no good. And it's going to be a Qatari ball. And Qatar will make the change. As Khalid comes back into the action, and he's certainly had an impact as Suleiman Khalid. Only got 3 points, but 2 assists as well. They certainly look a lot more balanced offensively when Khalid is on the floor. Australia continue with the 2-2-1 press. Mohamed works hard to get into a post position against Hodgson and loses his footing and throws it away. It's out of bounds. As Mohamed is sprawled out on the floor. An Australian sideline ball. Mohamed gives Hodgson a little tap on the back saying you won that battle, but I'm sure it won't be the last battle of the war that they have tonight. Kay now back to Sobey. Sobey finds the cutter. Who drains the wing jumper, McCarron. And a little head-to-head between McCarron now and Avdic. A little bit of handbags, completely pointless. All it ends up doing is delaying the game. Few words exchanged. Got to know each other a little bit better. Let's just get on with the game, boys. Technical foul has been called. I'm not sure who that one's been called on. Just have to wait to see who that's been assigned to. frustration you can see from the Qatari players. Officials now explaining it to the Qatari bench. That's one thing you'll always find from the FIBA international officials. They're happy to tell you what the decision is. You might not agree with their decision, but they'll explain it to you. And it's Mohamed that's been called for the technical foul. It's going to be Qatari ball on the baseline after Glidden made the free throw. Khaled now to Avdic. Close to the basket, can't get it to go, and Mohamed can't get the follow either. Australia now, ball in the hands of Sobey, hands it off to Glidden. He hits the three, and Australia is starting to warm up again. 25-point lead for Australia now, 6.5 minutes left in this third quarter. Coach Giannialis for Qatar will call the timeout. And there's the big screen by Mohamed, and it's a legitimate screen. Down to the Australians to give the shout. Don't let McCarron know that he's going to be blindsided with a screen.
Now this is what.
Let's jump into the Australian huddle.
All right, so this is where our class and our pride rises above all that shit. We play good, smart defense. We're tough defensively. We talk and look after our teammates. Be aware of people setting screens up the floor, all that sort of stuff. Okay? Offensively, again, we keep the run in the game. Ball movement's all fine. When it comes down to defense now, this is where we assert ourselves on the game with being classy defensive players. Yeah. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Smart timeout there from Coach Lamanis. Just calming things down. Obviously, they've had the previous issue with regards to the game in the Philippines. They don't need a repeat of that. They need to show themselves, as he said, to be the classy players that they aspire to be. And the way they do that is playing classy defense. And he called it out. He said it straight away. We need to tell our players when screens are being set, it's down to us for that to happen. But yeah, a nice, smart timeout from Coach Andre Lamanis. Australia still in a zone press right now. Qatar break it pretty easily, but it's knocked away. That's great quick hands from McCarron, and almost a perfect backdoor pass, but McCarron just having to overstretch for that one, and Sobey puts his hand up on that one. Accepts responsibility for a slightly off-target pass. This defense is causing Qatar some problems now to break. Khaled just brings it up over the half and gets the offense started. Mushkic sets the screen, but it's once again stolen away. Kay will outbound it to Sobey, puts the two-handed hammer on it. And Australia once again look to turn the screw a little bit further. Mushkic now. Back to Mohamed. Sorry, not to Mohamed. That one's at Abdel Basset. Wanting it to go, and the foul's going to be called on Mushkic. And this is the steal. And a nice pass from Kay out to Sobey on the break, who finishes it with a little bit of authority. Long inbound pass from the baseline. That foul was called actually on Hodgson. And Fowler will take the three. But come up quite short on that one, and Qatar, you live by the three, you die by the three, and it's certainly not going their way here in the third quarter so far. Sobey now, out to McCarron, inside, nice pass, good ball movement, Glidden for three. Oh, absolutely wonderful team offense from Australia. And that's the classy side of basketball that Coach Lamanis was talking about. So unselfish. And Glidden finishes the play the way it deserves to be finished with a three. And that takes it up to a 30-point lead now for Australia. That's the biggest lead of the game. Fowler now, loses his footing. He's going to get tied up. Manages to get it away to Mohammed. That's a really smart pass by Fowler, but look at the Australian defense. Absolutely smothering, and Abdel Bassett can't get the three to drop. And Australia have absolutely ratcheted up the defense. McCarron now looking to back his way to the basket. Wonderful move in the post. Just felt the body contact from Abdel Bassett and used it against him. Fowler now with a crossover, and he's fouled by McCarron. And he felt where the body contact was and used it to seal him out on the spin. Fowler now. 4.5 minutes left in this third quarter, and Australia have absolutely dominated this quarter. They've outscored Qatar 18-2. Make that 18-4 as Fowler slithers his way to the basket. The lane just opened up enough space for him to get through. Outscoring Qatar by 14 points in this quarter, though. Jawai's come back in as well, so things don't get much easier for the Qataris. McCarron off target. Rebound into the hands of Blanchfield. A nice use of the glass from Nick Kay. Not a shot you see used too often these days, using the backboard. If you're good at it, it can be an exceptionally effective way to score the ball. Fowler now to Avdic. Avdic hands it off to Mohammed. Mohammed drives inside, but has to step back as Jawai closes the door. Muzdic catch and shoot. Nails the three. Muzdic. And that's a big score for him, and a big score for Qatar. And that's Fowler finding his way to the basket. Mohammed now out to Muzdic. He hits the three, and Jawai's frustrated. He did help down a little bit too far. It's always that balance, isn't it? You have to know if your man can shoot the ball, and pretty much the entire roster for Qatar can shoot the ball. Shot fake from McCarron. Gets Mohammed way up in the air, but it's no good with the shot. Jawai pulls a rebound down. Blanchfield will shoot the three himself as well. He's too heavy-handed with that one. Fowler now. He's going to have to come back out. Offensive foul's going to be called. And that on Al-Reyes. Reyes called for his second foul. And Qatar will make the change. As Lachine comes in for Fowler. To Barlow. Barlow hands it off to McCarron, back to Barlow. Looks for Jawai, but Jawai wasn't set in the post. He is now. He's going to go up against Mukic. Goes inside, looks like he's fouled there, and the officials have called it. Mukic just caught, trying to strip the ball away, and it's when you have that strength differential, and Jawai is an absolute beast of a player as he goes to the basket. You're not going to stop him. The temptation is, instead of taking a contact on the chest, to reach him, try and strip it away. You really do run a high percentage chance of being called for the foul, and Jawai will go to the line for 2 shots. A very experienced player indeed, was drafted back in 2008 by Indiana, 41st pick of that draft. But he's applied his trade around the world as Nathan Jawai. He was a champion in Serbia back in 2011. Champion in Australia in 2016 with Perth, and is now part of the Cairns Taipan roster in the NBL in Australia. No good with the second of his two. And only add an extra point to the Australian lead. Gaye now. To Mohammed. Muskic sets the screen and rolls, but nothing there. Mohammed will shoot the three. He'll come up very short. Muskic fights for the rebound, but can't get it to go. And Mohammed's been a little bit selfish with the ball so far this evening. Spending way too long dribbling with the ball in his hands. Not playing much team offense at the moment, and you can almost tell from the, well, you can by the fact he's been taken out, but from the eyes of coach Giannis Yaris, that he's not particularly happy with his number one, Mohammed. Norton now to inbound the ball for Australia. Finds Kadi in the corner. Oh, who obliges with the three. He's up to 13 points. Sorry, he's up to 18 points now with the three and that lay-in. He's made a big impact in this game. He's only played under 12 minutes. Got a quite impressive personal haul. Pitch for long two. Soft target with that one, but it's a good rebound by Lachine. Pivoting his way to the basket, and one! What a play! Mustafa Lachine. A role player for Qatar, but it's a lesson to learn. When you're given your opportunity, take it. There's the steal by Kadi. And there's the play by Lachine, and it shows how much it means to him. When you are that role player and you're given the minutes, you have to take full advantage of them. Nice rebound, and another one play. This time Nasser Al-Rayas going to draw the foul from Jawai. Oh no, David Barlow's been called for that foul. But Al-Rayas will go to the line. Had a big game back in September against the Philippines. 17 points, 6 rebounds in that one. Just his first points of the game there with that three-point play. Barlow now looks for the backdoor cut from Kadi. He goes into the corner for Blanchfield, who hits the three, and once again, another wonderful example of team offense in action for Australia. Machine all wrapped up and throws it away. Blanchfield now comes back to Norton, who goes to Jawai, to Blanchfield, corner for Kadi. Couldn't quite finish the playoff. Under a minute now left in this third quarter. Gaye going to try and lose his defender, but Norton once again stays in front of him and hounds him for the ball. Abdullah now, little shake against Kadi. Nothing there. Shot clock down to 3. Gaye's going to have to take the jumper and nails it just as the shot clock was about to expire. Australia with a 31-point lead. 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Jawai now to Blanchfield. Catch and shoot. Hits yet another three. Blanchfield absolutely on fire from outside. He's 4 from 5. All his points coming from the perimeter. Abdullah now. Clock down to 7 seconds, and Abdullah's going to be called for an 8-second violation as he slowly walks his way over the halfway line. That will give Australia the final shot. Of this quarter, 7.2 seconds to go. Kadi now, ball in hand. Jawai sets the screen. Kadi. Oh, it's stolen away though by Abdullah, and he's lost the handle as the clock expires. A couple of plays to forget there for Abdullah. And at the end of the third quarter, Australia still dominating this one. They lead this one 82-48 over Qatar. 10 more minutes of action left here at Margaret Court Arena in Melbourne.
World. FIBA Basketball World Cup is right here. You want it? Come and get it.
Welcome back to the Margaret Court Arena here in Melbourne. 3/4 of the way through this one. Australia lead it 82-48 over Qatar. An unbelievable three-point shooting from the Australians. 56%, 15 from 27. Almost, in fact, more than half of their points have come from the perimeter. And that was the play of the third quarter. The reverse alley-oop for Hodgson. Wonderfully executed, and that was the first score of that third quarter. But Jason Kadee has been the man to watch. He scored 18 points for Australia so far. Blanchfield on 12 and Glidden on 11. For Qatar, only 2 players in double digits. Mukic with 11 points, as has Mohamed. 10 more minutes to go here in Melbourne. Australia already secured their place at the World Cup finals in China next year. So this really is a party day for them. That's not how Coach Lamanis sees it for Australia. He's working on different setups, different lineups. He's certainly worked on his press defense. He's worked hard on the 2-2-1 press zone, the Australians. Whereas for Qatar, they're in the battle every single game. They're trying to improve, they're trying to impress, and they're certainly doing that in phases. What have they got in this final 10 minutes? So here we go, the final quarter of this World Cup qualifier between Australia and Qatar here in Melbourne. Australia lead this one 82-48 after 3 quarters. In impressive fashion, the Australians have dominated this game, but Abdullah makes up for a couple of poor plays at the back end of the third quarter with the opening score of this final period. Quick ball movement here from Australia. Kadee now, back to Barlow, to Norton. Oh, and they'll open things with another 3. That's their 16th 3 of the game. Gaye now for Qatar. Back to Gaye at the top, and Australia's defense continues to work well. Mukic, though, open for 3, and you can't really leave him open. He certainly can shoot the ball well, the big man. Barlow now. And the foul's going to be called on Mukic. And here's the 3 from Norton. And this is the problem you have when you're playing Australia and you have a plethora of three-point shooters. And when you combine that with an unselfish offense that's been created by that coaching staff, you are in a pretty problematic situation when you go up against them. Qatar now sitting in a 2-3 zone. Trying to eliminate those corner and wing 3s. Kadee picks his way inside to the corner. Blanchfield, catch and shoot for 3. He's off target. He's hit 4 of them so far tonight, so you can't really blame him for taking that one. Australia lead by 35 now, 8.5 left on the game clock. And look how far back Qatar are being pushed. That's a nice strong move to the basket by Lashing, but he doesn't get any favours off the glass. Into Johnson now in the post. He's going to use the glass as well, but same result for him. No points on the board. Abdullah now to Gaye. Oh, nice crossover, almost gave him space, should have capitalised more. Instead takes a fadeaway elbow jumper. He lost his defender then and didn't put the Jets on to blast to the basket. That was a mistake, and by the looks of that picture, Khaled is done for the day. He's got his shoes off, his feet up. It's a shame because he's quite an influential player for Qatar. Played in 8 of their qualifiers now. Barlow hands it off to Moller, to Johnson, to Blanchfield, back to Johnson, rolls inside, ball comes back out, Barlow's open for 3, and once again it continues to rain. They might have the roof on here at the Margaret Court Arena, but it's still raining. 3s this time. Fowler asks for the screen to come up, and Aleas obliges, but now Fowler's been caught in a double team. Aleas will shoot a long three. The glass and away. Barlow now to Blanchfield inside. Has to change his shot mid-air. Never easy, but almost come away with it. Fowler uses the Abdel Halim screen and passes it to the wing to Abdullah, who puts up an air ball, and Qatar at the moment seem a little lost offensively. Gianniaris, I'm not sure he has the answers to get Qatar back on track, but their offense is stumbling at the moment. They've been outscored 6-2 so far in the opening 3 minutes of this final period. Blanchfield now to Sobey. As Hodgson comes up and sets the screen. Oh, another alley-oop pass to Hodgson, almost threw it down. Moller will take the three instead. He's off left with that one. And the rebound is secured by Lachine for Qatar. Fowler for three. It really has become a shootout, this game. The problem you've got if you're Qatar is Australia seem to be a bit better at the shootout situation. Sobey now to Moller. Corner three, Blanchfield. No joy, but the rebound for Johnson is pretty straightforward, as he has a mismatch against the young guard, Lachine. Lachine giving up almost 25 centimetres to Johnson. As Blanchfield goes to the bench. Impressive performance from the perimeter from him so far today. Catch and shoot from the wing yet again, and another big three. This time from the hands of Cam Glidden. And that's going to force Qatar into a timeout. Coach Gianniaris, see if he has absolutely anything that he can do to stop this onslaught from Australia, because they are lighting it up at the moment from distance. Let's jump into the huddles and have a listen to what's being said.
Pushing people as scouts, aware number 5's a lefty, so we can get him right in the middle of the floor. Okay? With number 10 back in the game, on balls with him, we'll rotate or hustle. All right, early hustle if it's a call. If we get stuck on it, we do need to rotate on number 10. Like it, keep going. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. What's that? Number 5, the left-handed.
Looks like it might be an issue with the right ankle of Suleiman Khalid. It's going to stop him seeing any more action today, and pretty straightforward message there from Coach Lamanis. I like it. Carry on. As a coach, it's always great to have timeouts like that where you can literally say very little. Just continue as you are, please, guys. Just a couple of finer details to point out, but outside of that, it's just we're doing our jobs, we're doing it well, the game plan is working. Mohamed now back into the game against Hodgson, and straight away he has the desired impact for Qatar, and they really are a different team when he's on the floor. You seem a bit more confident on the offensive end, like there's always an option, and it is to put it into the big man. Hodgson comes up to set the screen for Sobey. And Abdel Halim is going to be called for the foul, and this is the difference that Mohamed brings to the Qatari team. They know they can feed him in the post and that he can go to work. Skipped in long to Sobey, back into the corner to Glidden. Cross court now, trying to stretch out the zone defense from Qatar, and it's worked as Daniel Johnson gets the two in the paint. As a little move away from Abdel Halim is all he needs to find the space to get the shot away. Avdic now looking to feed Mohamed inside, and he's double teamed, and that's worked this time for Australia. Now to Glidden, to Moller, to Hodgson, and he's fouled. Abdel Halim will get chalked up with that foul, and here's a double team defensive effort from Australia. A wonderful block from Hodgson. And Qatar are now in the team foul situation as well. 5 minutes still to play, pretty much. And Hodgson goes to the line for two. Misses the first. Certainly a part of the game that Hodgson really does need to work on prior to today's game. 38% from the free throw line. The Brisbane Bullets big man. Connects with the second. And the Boomers continue to grow their lead. Up to 42 now. Rasheen goes to the bench for Qatar, and will have a bright future in Qatari basketball. Only 21 years old. As is this man here, Fowler. Two of the bright sparks for the future of Qatar basketball. Abdel Halim for three. Oh, nothing but net for him. And the string music is a wonderful sound for the Qataris to hear at this stage. Sobey to Molla, and one. Wonderful play, wonderful vision from Sobey. A great cut by Molla. And here's the three from Abdel Halim. At the bottom of the bucket. And there's the assist from Sobey to Molla, who's fouled on his way to the two. Converts the extra point on the three-point play, and Australia once again are getting close to that 100-point mark. They average 87.8 points per game, and they average to concede under 60 a game. So Qatar have done well to get 55 on them at this point. It's just the conceding of points that Qatar have struggled with today. Fowler is going to have to come back out. Fakes his way to a layup that he should have made. Can't quite connect with. To Molla in the corner. Back to Sobey. Glidden for three. Oh, and the corner pocket three is good for Cam Glidden. And Australia are putting on a shooting masterclass right now. 19 from 34 from the perimeter. That's 56%. Abdel Halim to the basket, strong against Johnson, gets it to go. Scored the last 5 points for Qatar. Foul's going to be called on Hodgson. Here once again, it's the great ball movement to Glidden for three. Just acknowledgement to his teammate for the pass, as Sobey will go to the bench. And Norton will come back in for the Boomers. And with that three, Australia have hit the ton again. Surprisingly, only the second 100-point score that Australia have had in their qualification campaign so far. Their first was the first game of qualification almost, 13 months ago now against Chinese Taipei, where they scored 104. They're going to certainly outdo that score here today. This will be their biggest score of the qualifiers so far, as Hodgson heads to the bench after making both his free throws. Barlow's into the game for the Boomers. Fowler now uses the screen from Avdic. Avdic rolls out to the three. No joy with that one though, but the rebound comes back to Mucic. Mucic now into the low post. He's going to go to work against Johnson. Johnson's going to hold firm. It's a tough move by Mucic as he loses his footing and is left on the hardwood. Norton to Glidden. Glidden, cross-court pass to Barlow. Once again, great ball movement by Australia. Into Johnson now. Johnson's going to go to work, draw the defenders, skip it out to Barlow. And he'll nail the three as well. And they're absolutely unstoppable at the moment, Australia. And the timeout has been called as the Australian lead is up to 48 points now. And you could see what Johnson's thinking was. He knew as soon as he started backing his man down that the double team would come. And that would mean on the weak side, Barlow would be open for the three. Let's jump into Andre Lemanis' timeout. Let's listen to what he's got to say.
Be aware of cheap shot screens, all right? So just make sure we're really talking about back screens and things like that. Go ahead, pack it in and help each other out. Offensively, like, no doubt if we got a breakaway, like if we got an opportunity to run. But otherwise, just get in the flow, get it through reversal pace and get to the second side. So we just use a little bit of clock offensively as well. If you got a breakaway layup, look after yourself. All right, who knows what these guys are going to do. Don't go in the air and put yourself at risk. Go ahead, just dribble it out. And if there's anyone near, we'll let the ball do some work. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Interesting timeout there from Coach Lemanis. His concern is the safety of his players at this point. And it's understandable when you get in games like this and teams have been blown out like Qatar have been here. You know, it's a big 48-point lead at the moment for Australia. Some of the discipline within the team that are losing sometimes becomes a bit lax. That's not saying anything against Qatar specifically. Just generally, you try and block the ball a bit harder and pick some highlight plays out of what has been maybe a bit of a tough day for Qatar. So he's saying to his guys, just protect yourself. Make sure you don't leave yourself open to picking up an injury, which would be crazy at this stage of a game like this. Abdul Halim bounces his way to the basket, can't get it to go. Australia will slow things down, and as Coach Lemanis asked for, a bit of time management now, run some game clock off. Let's just see the game out. Johnson now in the low post. Oh, nice handoff. Daniel Johnson showing his great court vision in the low post, and it's an underrated skill for the big man. We're seeing it come into the game a bit more these days, but the awareness of where your teammates are, where the options are offensively, even when you're in full flow, back to the basket post mode is so critical for big guys, and Daniel Johnson there for the Boomers, really showing how it's done best. As Avdic goes to the bench for Qatar. Barlow will be at the line for 2 shots after being fouled by Avdic. 2 minutes and 6 seconds left on the game clock here. Margaret Court Arena in Melbourne. And Abdul Halim fighting for the rebound. Working hard, looks to the officials for some assistance, but that was just a clean rebounding battle. Fouled and out. Wait for the Mujkic string to come up. Uses it. Is he going to use it again? No. We'll wait for him to go away and isolate a little bit. Once again, Qatar left with the ball in the point guard's hands for way too long, and they're going to run out of shot clock time. And they're going to give the 2 points because Moller slapped the backboard. Simple mistake from Craig Moller there. Qatar get away with it as Fowler spends 24 seconds with the ball in his hands. Let's have a look at a replay of that one. In fact, no, it's a shot clock violation. It's one that's been missed. It was released after the shot clock had expired. We'll let the officials away with that one. They've made some great calls yet again here in Melbourne. Johnson now to Moller. Back to Barlow. Barlow looking to feed Johnson in the post. He's being forced out to the high post. He bounces his way through. An absolute barrage of arms from Mujkic and Abdul Halim. You can take your pick on who the foul's on. It's been awarded to Mujkic. And all smiles on the Australian bench at the moment. Another very well executed game plan has seen them pick up the win here in Melbourne. They'll just have 2 more games to play in their qualification campaign. Both of them are going to be on the road. Thursday the 21st of Feb, they'll be in Kazakhstan. And then Sunday the 24th of February, they'll be in Iran. That will conclude their World Cup qualification campaign, one that's been executed near perfectly only one loss so far, and that was to Japan, a 1-point loss away on the road. And I think the Boomers can give themselves a pat on the back with regards to qualification. A job very well done indeed for Australia. Mohammed now for Qatar. Little shake, step back, free throw line jumper comes up short and falls into the hands of Jason Kadhi. Every single one of the Australian players has registered on the scorebook. And Kadhi adds to it with the three. 21st three-pointer of the game for Australia. Unbelievable, 58%. 63 of their 110 have come from outside in what has been an absolute shooting masterclass here. Fowler with a crossover. Little shake, hesitation, pull up. Once again, the ball spends all the time in Fowler's hands, and that is going to be an issue that Giannialis is going to have to deal with. He's got players that like to hold on to the ball, and they're not playing team offense at all at the moment. 9-second differential between shot clock and game clock, so Qatar will get the ball back to Barlow. He's going to drive inside to the corner to Moller. A long three, no good, which is a rare thing to say, and that will see the clock run down as Fowler looks to get a shot off and does get a bit of a Hail Mary to finish the game, but that's all we have in Melbourne at the Margaret Court Arena, and Australia have secured the win 110-59 over Qatar. A dominant Australian performing, a absolute masterclass for perimeter shooting from the Boomers, and they finished this qualification window in style, having already secured their place at the World Cup finals in Australia next year. They've just got 2 more games to play, whereas for Qatar, it's been another tough weekend of qualification for them. They lost to Japan on Friday, they lost to Australia today. They've got 2 more games to redeem themselves, both at home against the Philippines and against Japan. And both teams come to their huddles on the floor. The crowd here at Margaret Court Arena in Melbourne has been given a good show by the Boomers, and men in green and yellow have once again put a great 40 minutes onto the hardwood for their fans and their countrymen and women. There's your shooting percentages, finishing up 57% from the perimeter, 21 from 37 for the Australians. Also dominated the rebounding battle, 37-29, and look at that statistic, 32 assists in a game. You very rarely see that amount of team offense, and it really is pretty much a great emblem of Australian basketball that they approach the game in such a team-focused manner. Here are some of your game leaders. Today with 21 leads all scorers. Mohamed had 13 for Qatar. And Mohamed also had 2 steals, but also 3 blocks, 3 turnovers to his name as well. And so the 2 steals as well. And your leading scorers outside of those leaders was Mushkic with 11, Mohamed with 9 for Qatar, Glidden with 17, and Blanchfield with 12 for Australia. But we really have been given a treat here today, and that was a great opening play of the third quarter as Hodgson throws it down. But Australia have been in control from the opening tip to the final buzzer. They have led this game for all but 18 seconds, the first 18 seconds of the game. And they've finished out winning this one by 51 points, but dominated the first quarter. Qataris showed a bit of fight in the second quarter, limited the Australians to just 20 points. But then once again, the coaching team did a great job with the Boomers in the halftime locker room. And they came out in the third quarter and dominated proceedings, outscoring Qatar 32-14. And then pretty much the game was secured as we entered the fourth quarter. But Australia outscored Qatar by 17 in that one as well. That's given them their 51-point lead. They've obviously already qualified for the World Cup finals. But a great performance from the Boomers here. Jason Kadhi led them with 21 points, 3 rebounds and 2 assists. And Glidden with 17 points, 3 assists to his name, and the 2 players in double-digit scoring. Blanchfield, he was 4 from 7 from the perimeter and 6 rebounds, and then Barlow had 12 as well. For Qatar, only 2 players in double-digit scorings. Mohamed with 13 points, 3 rebounds, an assist and 2 steals to his name. And then the other big man, Mushkic, with 11 points, 4 boards on the box score for him. It really has been a shooting masterclass from the Australians, 57% from 3. That said, the Qataris didn't shoot too badly from the perimeter either. They shot 36%, connecting with 9 of their 25 attempts. But it was a one-sided affair here at Margaret Court Arena, as the Boomers secure their 9th win of qualification. They still sit top of Group F. They've qualified for the World Cup finals in China already. Qatar are left propping up the table. They sit with a 2-win, 8-loss record as they enter the final 2 games of their qualification. So Australia, their final 2 games will be both on the road as they face Kazakhstan on Thursday the 21st of Feb and Iran on Sunday the 24th of Feb. So that's all we have for you here. There's your standings. And Qatar, their next 2 games are both at home, the Philippines and Japan. But what a game we've had here, and what a shooting masterclass we've been privileged to witness from the Australians. They lead the Margaret Court Arena in Melbourne, leading this one 110-59 over Qatar.